I'm Chris Ensing. Here's what's making news right now.
We don't know what's going to happen to our little community, right? Like we love it. We love it for our kids. We love that we get to raise them there, and we don't know what it's going to be like when we get back.
Dealing with the whole police incident, I have been not like in the right mind frame. It's been very daunting, and just seeing if I'm going to go to an interview.
We have about 244 people a day on average just not showing up. So they booked their appointment and they just fail to show up.
Thanks for joining us. Katerina's away tonight. A Windsor man says he's paying a high price for an alleged crime the law states should have been tried by now. Daniel Simpson is accused of a hit-and-run incident involving a bylaw officer in Guelph. There are summary conviction charges, and it should be tried within 18 months. But as Ashta Shetty reports, it's been almost 4 years.
And like I have like so many other jobs like experience on here, so it's a waiting game after this once I submit.
Daniel Simpson has been looking for a job for almost 4 years, but despite what's on his resume, he hasn't found one. The reason why? Well, he's facing charges and can't get a day in court.
I feel like a statistic, and I kind of feel like the judicial system kind of failed me. And I'm just here trying to survive, and everything that has set me back has pretty much stemmed from this situation.
In 2018, Simpson was accused of speeding out of a parking spot in Guelph, hitting a bylaw officer, and driving away. With untried charges on his record, employers just aren't calling him back after doing police checks.
That's like the hard pill to swallow, because then you want to be like, is it because of the pending charges? But you don't really get to ask that question afterwards.
According to the Jordan law, Simpson's charges should have been dealt with within 18 months. It's left this law professor wondering if racial inequities are at play because Simpson is a black man.
Well, in our system, I mean, there's certain baked-in stereotypes. Certain people, racialized people, certain marginalized people, the presumption of innocence, is perhaps not as potent as it would be. For other folks.
Simpson's lawyer has filed a Jordan application to have all charges thrown out. Simpson, who is now living off of his savings, won't have a new court date until June. And by then, it'll have been almost exactly 4 years since he was first charged. Ashta Shetty, CBC News, Windsor.
Windsor Regional Hospital is running into a problem. As they look to ramp up vaccination spaces, some people are booking appointments but aren't showing up for their slot. It's been a mad dash this week, refreshing the vaccine booking portal, hoping to find an open spot.
We're north of over 6,000 doses a day. That's pretty much the highest we ever were at during any part of the last year doing vaccinations. Our goal is to get that up another 2,000 a day, and we're going to work on that.
To help, the mass vaccination clinic in Leamington will be reactivated, administering doses by the first week of January. But there's a problem at the region's only mass vaccination clinic. People are skipping booked appointments.
To have 244 people a day out of over 3,000 just not show up, that's not good.
A similar number of people are calling to cancel. Most are vaccine shopping.
We calculate it's just over about 100 a day are not wanting it because they don't want Moderna and they think they could find Pfizer somewhere else.
This stems from a provincial shortage, forcing a change in what vaccine people get. If you're 5 to 29, it's a Pfizer dose. 30 or older, Moderna. It's not negotiable, but people try.
Please, the staff at the vaccination center don't have the ability to negotiate with you and get you Pfizer. They don't.
How long are you waiting?
Exactly. So we've heard from the province, the earliest they are going to get enough adult Pfizer to help with boosters is going to be late January of 2022. You don't have time. Do not wait.
He says that wait for Pfizer isn't necessary.
It actually does, in some research, actually benefit by mixing and matching.
Now, today is the 1-year anniversary of the first vaccination in Windsor, Essex. You can read about that on our website. As of today, 1 in 5 people have a booster or a third dose in our community. 84 new cases today, and 3 more people have died with COVID-19 All men. They were in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. Just up the 401, a record number of cases in the London area. 228 announced today as the Omicron variant takes hold. The federal government is extending and expanding some of its support programs for those affected by COVID-19 lockdowns.
We're going to be there for the hard-hit regions, for specific sectors like art and culture, hospitality, and tourism. We will be there to keep you and your family safe. We're going to continue to work closely with the provinces and territories, but we will be there with supports for the areas that need it.
The Canada Worker Lockdown Benefit is being expanded to include workers in provinces and territories that introduced capacity limits of 50% or more. It will provide $300 a week to eligible workers directly affected by COVID-19 related lockdowns and who have lost 50% or more of their income as a result. For businesses, the federal local lockdown program is being expanded to include employers that are subject to those capacity limits. Businesses that face monthly revenue drop of at least 25% can also apply. Eligible employers will receive rent and wage subsidies of between 25 and 75%, depending on their revenue loss. These updated regulations, they're retroactive to December 19th and last until February 12th, until next year. A local business says it feels like small businesses are being targeted by the government, but not in the right way.
Having been at a lowered capacity, a 50% capacity, and during the busiest time of our year, after having been shut down for 11 months during this whole pandemic, is challenging on its own. And then to be given such incredibly, small amount of information, very little amount of support, it's not enough, and it feels harsh.
Work continues in downtown Wheatley to find the source of the gas leaks that are believed to be the cause of last summer's explosion. Damaged buildings have been demolished. Now the municipality of Chatham-Kent is working on excavation and a pathway analysis. Now that analysis is trying to determine how the gas is reaching the surface. Officials say it's unsafe for all non-essential personnel to be in that evacuated area. Some residents have reported a gas-like smell in that area. The technical team has found no appreciable findings of gas. They believe the smell might be a result of the soil being disrupted by the digging that's going on. On Sunday, 8 people were allowed back in their homes for a short time to retrieve belongings. Meanwhile, Chatham-Kent businesses are stepping up and helping the displaced residents of Wheatley with some Christmas cheer. More than 100 food baskets are being delivered to the Village Resource Center for distribution and pickup. About 155 people were evacuated from their homes after the August 26th explosion in the downtown. Dale Molnar checked in with one family this week to see what Christmas will be like for them.
And then these ones were the ones my husband bought for me with the date of the explosion and then like our last name on that side.
Stephanie Charbonneau, her husband Jeremy, and their young daughters Elaine and Mabel have been displaced since the August explosion. They are renting a farmhouse in Leamington. They weren't able to bring any of their own Christmas decorations, but the community has donated ornaments and toys for the kids. They're grateful, but still would like to know when they can return home.
Of course we want to go back there. That's where we set up our first roots. That's our first home that we purchased together. We loved the community. Obviously, it probably won't have the same feel that it used to have as a nice hometown.
My best case scenario is that come the spring, they've figured out what's going on, they resolve it, and they allow us access to start fixing and rebuilding our lives.
The search for the source of the gas leak suspected of causing the explosion is continuing. The municipality has said it will allow people to return to their homes temporarily once it's safe. Meanwhile, the Charbonneaus are making do with their temporary home. The internet is not quite as good. Jeremy needs it for work as a computer application engineer, and Mabel is mentally disabled, so she finds navigating the stairs a bit difficult. And there's no place like home for the holidays.
We normally go on a walk to look at Christmas lights, which where we are now, we're not walking to go look for Christmas lights. Since we were in a new house and given our situation, we tried to do something to help us feel more festive. So we took the girls and we went to Sloan's to buy a real Christmas tree.
It definitely took us a long time to get settled, but we're finally at least in a bit more of the Christmas spirit, like we were able to get a lot of donations from a lot of decorations and things to make it feel festive in here.
The Charbonneaus have been able to visit their house on Foster Street to retrieve some belongings, but they are concerned about the shape it's in.
But our struggle is the municipality hasn't allowed us to winterize our home. And we have boiler heat and rads with water in them. That could be an issue as it gets colder.
While the best Christmas present would be word they can return home for good, they'd at least like to know what the future actually holds.
It would give us a chance to plan and be realistic instead of every day waking up like hoping that that day is coming sooner rather than later. Mommy's trying to play a song here.
Dale Molnar, CBC News, Leamington.
Still a lot of unanswered questions for those families there in Wheatley. Chatham-Kent Leamington MPP Rick Nichols has joined the Ontario Party. Nichols was ousted from the Doug Ford PC party for refusing to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Despite the consensus from medical professionals that the vaccines are safe and effective, Nichols says he is concerned about what the long-term effects of the vaccine might be. He's also thrown his support behind Ontario Party leader Derek Sloan. Sloan was ousted from the Conservative Party caucus in part for taking a contribution from a reputed white supremacist.
That situation where he accepted a $121 donation from someone he didn't even know, who knows? Could very easily have been a setup, Dale. I don't know. But again, I think it was a case where, and all this I think came to light after the leadership race. And I know that Derek Sloan tried to defend himself, but his defense fell on deaf ears.
Nichols is the first sitting MPP to be a member of the party. The Ontario Party is a small right-wing populist party that was formed in 2018. Nichols isn't sure that he will run for re-election in June. He says he's helping the party form policy now. We'll decide in February whether or not he'll run. Now, for the majority of 2021, the surface of the Ambassador Bridge has been receiving some major repairs. For safety reasons, some streets under it have been closed to traffic during that process. CBC News spoke with the general manager of the bridge company on what exactly has been completed.
Well, right now what we're doing is we're doing a major repair and maintenance program on the bridge deck roadway. So what we're realistically doing is we're removing all of the old concrete, old steel beams under the roadway, rail, street lights, and we're replacing all back with new. So all new steel under the roadway, all new concrete, roadway rail, street lights, LEDs. At the end of 19, when the pandemic started to root its head, and we seen that there was going to be some pattern changes, the border closed. What we did is made a decision internally, a business decision from the executive level down to the operation level, was to expedite the repairs. So, we pretty much cut the repair time down in half in order to get it done, and that's what we're continuing on the Canadian side.
Now, according to Spader, the roadway replacement is on schedule, slated to be completed in the spring. We'll take a live look outside of the beautiful city of Windsor. There is no snow on the ground. It's hard to imagine anything freezes over if you've got a backyard rink, but we are still full of festive cheer. I'm sure Nick is too. He'll bring us the weather after the break.
Hi, I'm David Boyd from BMO Nesbitt Burns, and it's the season to give, especially during these most difficult pandemic times. CBC is underway with their Sounds of the Season campaign to make a difference for those in need. For more information, visit cbc.ca/Windsor.
CBCWindsor.com.
They're soft, they're squishy, and they're apparently designed to be huggable, but many children looking to wrap their arms around a Squishmallow this year may not find them under the Christmas tree. High demand for the popular plush toys during the pandemic means they're not easy to find. Robin Miller speaks with some collectors to find out why that is.
But I'm really excited. I'm trying to find the axolotl one, which still hasn't popped up yet.
Emma Mitchell has a following on TikTok of more than 21,000, and all she talks about are these Squishmallows, or Squish, a plush toy that's been soaring in popularity throughout the pandemic.
They're so bright and fun, and especially like in the last 2 years, it's been such a dark, awful time. So it was kind of this just positive thing to look to in a time that's felt so dark.
Mitchell has collected at least 450 Squishmallows.
If you're from Quebec and you collect Squishmallows,
through videos on social media, she's met collectors from around the world. People like her looking to add to their Squish squad.
Sometimes I go to a store and I find nothing, and that's still, people are watching that too.
The Squishmallow craze is one the owner of this independent toy store knows well. He compares them to the Beanie Babies boom of the late 1990s.
Now they're insane, but there's no product out there. So if you're able to buy them, you should buy them.
Emily McGee is trying to help parents out, selling a portion of her collection exclusively to those with young children and donating her earnings to charity.
I want to sell those to them so then they can give their kids a good Christmas.
McGee knows parents are competing against a portion of the Squishmallow community that buys in bulk and resells the toys at a higher price point. Despite her expansive collection, Mitchell says for her, it's not about the money.
Every once in a while, you might think to yourself, like, oh man, I could really make some money on this, but like at what cost? I find the community aspect a lot more fun.
Robin Miller, CBC News, Ottawa.
Beanie Baby boom, the Furbies for the NSYNCs. That was what it was for us growing up. There was a remarkable fossil that was found in southern China, and it's showing us how a baby dinosaur looked inside of a prehistoric egg.
This is one of the best preserved dinosaur embryos ever found and reported in Science. Because it is so well preserved, we can observe its posture very clearly, which allows us to compare it with other dinosaurs as well as modern birds.
Now, this animation was reconstructed following the discovery of a fossil that's more than 66 million years old. It's the embryo of a toothless theropod dinosaur, too young to hatch, but now essentially frozen in time. This tucking position was previously thought to be unique to birds before they hatch. Scientists say this fossil shows the behavior may have existed even in non-bird dinosaurs. This baby dino measures about 27 centimeters from its beak to the tip of its tail, found curled up inside an egg about 17 centimeters long. Nick joins us now for a look at weather. You got one of those Squishmallows, you got a prehistoric egg, you got anything?
Squishmallows to dinosaurs. Where
Collector
do we begin?
items.
Yeah, no kidding. eh? Both of them. You know what? I'm going to say this, Chris. I'm thankful that my son has never heard of that, because otherwise I would have been on the hunt this this Christmas. No, actually we don't, and this was the first I heard of it. But apparently I'm in the dark because everybody else has. Oh, what can I say? -4 degrees right now in Windsor. It's cold, and with the winds, feels like -9. The wind chill's certainly coming in there. Minus double digits in some areas with the wind chill, of course, not the temperature itself. We've got snow squalls off Lake Huron and Georgian Bay, but those are well to the east. Otherwise, fairly clear down around southwestern Ontario. There's a look at the satellite and radar imagery. A few flurries here and there, but that's really about it. Forecast-wise, as we head into tomorrow, look for cloud cover to move in by tomorrow morning. Then into the afternoon, a quick shot of snow before we warm up, and we've got some spotty showers in there. So You might actually see some accumulating snow with this thing around about the lunchtime hour, but it's not going to stick around very long if it does. Just depends on the rate because temperatures are going to warm up. It's going to melt into Friday. We've got warm weather, and in fact, by Friday evening, Christmas Eve, we're looking at rain showers, not snow showers, rain showers across southern Ontario. There's that, 1 to 2 centimeters of snow, but again, I don't think we're going to see any of that really sticking around in the Windsor area for tomorrow. It's just going to be too warm. But if it does, short-lived. -7 degrees tonight, wind chills to -14, -16, depending on where you are. Minus double digits, though, in areas out toward Chatham, Kent, and London. By tomorrow, a little warmer, about the 0 degree mark. Windsor coming in at 3 degrees. We've got that mixed precipitation in there. That basically starts around the noon hour or thereabouts. Quick shot of snow, and then we've got a few spotty showers in behind it. 3 degrees, then you notice Thursday overnight, 2 degrees, 7 on Friday, 7 on Saturday, Christmas Day, and actually stays above the 0 mark.
Wow.
For the long range. There you go.
Not bad. Today we did get enough snow where I called a buddy to tell him to look out a window just in case they didn't get to see it before Christmas Day. So
Yeah,
we're kind of in
exactly.
that zone right now.
Yeah. No, it's particularly warm. And then on the flip side of that, I'm looking at Vancouver's weather, where you expect rain, and they're looking at like 15 plus centimeters of snow for Christmas.
I know. It's
Go
wild.
figure.
It's wild. But that's what it is. Thanks for this, Nick.
Bet.
We've been checking out the Christmas lights across Canada. We got another look ahead. The National Hockey League has officially withdrawn from the Winter Olympics in China. The league saying that the profound disruption to its regular season caused by COVID-19 means it is not feasible to send players to the games. Now, the NHL has postponed 50 games so far. The league will now use the Olympic break to reschedule those matches. This will be the second consecutive Olympic men's hockey tournament without NHL players. Now, during the week, we've been showing you some of CBC Windsor's most memorable stories of 2021. Tonight, Jason Vio takes us down the street to a local Chinese restaurant that's touched the lives of so many customers.
Hey, Jason Vio here with CBC Windsor. One of my most memorable stories of the year that I've told was Shinshin Restaurant and the fact that it will be changing hands and the owner is selling it at the beginning of next year. On the surface, you know, it's an owner selling a restaurant. It might not seem like much, but once you walk through the doors, you really get a sense of the connections that he built with his customers. And it was kind of an emotional story to tell, and hearing so many memories and stories from customers and really what that place meant to them, not just them, but their families, generations of families. I mean, the chef has been there for more than 30 years and the owner has been there for quite some time as well. So it was really a family affair, and they were able to build connections with their customers beyond just serving them food. And it was a really kind of emotional story to tell, but I was happy to be able to share that.
Love Shinshin. Love that story as well. Jason did a good job at sharing that emotion when he brought that to the airwaves. That is it for CBC Windsor News. Don't forget, for news anytime, you can go on our website, cbc.ca/Windsor. We're on social media too. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Now, across the country, people have been very creative with what they've been able to pull off when it comes to lights and decorations. Some dazzling displays that we've been showing you, and we got some more to show you tonight. Here's the way that some people are celebrating the season.